Crowds greeted Pope Benedict XVI on his first trip to Mexico on Friday. The Pope says he hopes to use the trip to revitalize the faith of Mexico's 93 million Catholics. BBC reports.
And it already looks set to be a trip heavy on symbolism and politics. Mexico is a country with a huge Roman Catholic population, and they turned out in force.
Al Jazeera reports many gangs hung banners in Mexico City calling for a temporary drug war truce to honor the Pope's visit. Pope Benedict addressed that violence directly while speaking to the press. The Guardian has it.
Responsabilità per la Chiesa Cattolica in un paese con 80% cattolici e dobbiamo fare il possibile contro questo male distruttivo dell'umanità e della nostra gioventù.
Mexican President Felipe Calderón greeted the Pope with praise and kind words, saying the leader of the Catholic Church, quote, offered hope for a nation ravaged by violence, drought, and hunger. But as Al Jazeera reports, Pope Benedict's mission to revitalize Mexican faith could be an uphill battle in Mexico City.
The man they call Papa Benedicto XVI faces historic challenges here, the growing conversions turning Catholics into Pentecostals, changing views like the legalization of abortion and gay marriage in Mexico City.
A pope last visited Mexico in 1999 when John Paul II traveled to the nation for his fifth and final visit. CNN reports adoration for that pope still lingers in Mexico, writing, Benedict's trip will likely be overshadowed by his deceased predecessor, Pope John Paul II. Barely a week before Benedict's arrival, an exhibit to honor John Paul opened in Mexico City. It includes 200 personal items used by John Paul throughout his life and papacy. Opponents of President Calderón accuse the conservative leader of using Pope Benedict's visit as a political ploy. But Time magazine writes, if you were Mexico's ruling party and your presidential candidate was down by double digits in the polls 3 months before the election, you'd be looking for some divine help too. Pope Benedict will preside over Sunday Mass in Mexico before moving on to Cuba on Monday. That papal visit will mark the first to the isolated Caribbean nation since John Paul traveled to Havana in 1998. For Newsy, I'm Zach Toombs. Multiple sources, the real story.